I hate building here. Alright, let's do this. Hello everyone. A bunch of you were asking for it, so I'm back with another tutorial. This time for the Lakeside bunker build that I just put out, I think maybe a week or so ago. No, it was probably 2 weeks ago. I did the Brotherhood of Steel Watchtower. But anyway, yeah, it's pretty much just a hobbit hole on steroids. The actual quote-unquote living area of this camp is smaller than my hobbit hole build, but the base, like the layer that I'm putting down now, is way bigger just because of how tall it is, and it allows for the secret underground part in the back to work out. So just a forewarning to anybody that wants to attempt this location is very tedious. The reason that I can only put so many foundations in there is because there is a corpse and some like set locations of items in there, and when that's the case you can't place stuff. So that's why in my own personal build, I just kind of, oh, look at that guy. I just kind of put a like a cult hideout, like a mini dungeon thing down there. But you can do whatever you want. You can even put purifiers down there and hide them away if you want, or your generator. That's where I put my generator. It's a nice spot. But like I said, it's basically just a hobbit hole on steroids. So when it comes to the entrance, you just grab that top arch, put one on either side, and just go to town with roofs. And then once you have the bottom layer, you move up. You'll notice here that I exceed my budget, like I said, so I'm going to fast forward through till I have that all dealt with. When I move camp, I don't break anything down or blueprint anything. I just kind of, when I find a new place that I like or think could be a fun build in, I just kind of move there, because I like to make every aspect of my life as difficult as possible, apparently. So, like I said, I'll jump back in once I have this all sorted out, and we can pick up from there. Alright, so now that mess is dealt with, can get to work on placing the rest of the stuff necessary. And as I mentioned before, it's literally just a hobbit hole on steroids. So you're going to be doing it like a cake. Bottom layer, move on up to the middle layer, then the top layer. It's as simple as that. This is kind of a longer video just because there's so many parts that you might get caught up on and some tedious areas, and there's a bit of freehand placing later on. But as long as you just kind of watch and try and see the quirks that I work around with, you should be fine. So I'm going to be jumping in and out with the commentary. There's my camp, by the way. I'll throw it over here by the generator. But only jumping in and out with the commentary as necessary. Just a note here, I try and move these walls like an idiot, but I do end up placing other walls right there, and then I put top arches above them. You'll see later in the video that you need to remove those top arches to place the mid-level roof that goes there that kind of protects the staircase. like I said, I'll hop back in when that part comes up and I'll talk about that, but just a forewarning. And the staircase that goes down is going to be 2 foundations in. But you'll see that in a bit. And again, as long as you were kind of centered with your foundation placement, these walls should snap right into place, even through that big chunk of earth sticking through there. So I'm gonna jump out and I'll jump back in next time something comes up that, you know, might warrant a bit of voiceover. Alright, so right about here is one of those spots I mentioned I would jump in. I do a little messing around here with this foundation before I remember that that's not how it goes. I can't remember if I did it like that in my actual first build, but I do it a little differently this time because I felt like it was a waste of space, and it's just, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, it's a very tedious build, and I wanted to try and squeeze every inch of usable space out of it as I could. So what I did was put those foundations back. Came to terms that I couldn't place one there, and then I put by hand, well, first you'll see I put a wall up there, actually a doorway, because I wanted a bit of mobility between the front of the base and that secret back part. And then I eventually go and place a foundation by hand right next to this floor. I line it up with this floor, and yeah, it's not difficult. You just gotta line up the corners. Just get 2 corners to match up, and everything should fall into place, because for some reasons foundation floors don't snap to regular floors. And you'll see I kind of mess around because I don't really keep track of how I build things when I build them. I just kind of wing it a little bit every time I do. So yeah, I'll jump back in a minute here once I have these placed, and I can continue from there. So I'll be back. Alright, so after a little bit of frustration and not getting into place, I'm back, and as you can see here, got rid of that second foundation and removed those top arches so I could place the roof down, and then I'll hop over and replace them. And there is that. There's your kind of shielded staircase up. I hop over here, and because I realized at this point that I made that a bit too short, because I needed to kind of square off the layers. So we'll get that one down, get the corner down, and then just proceed to make smaller and smaller hobbit holes going up. I'd like to at some point make a multi-level, multi-floor hobbit hole. Oh, watch out when you're walking too, because there's plenty of stuff to fall into in this build. No, I was saying I would like to make a multi-level hobbit hole at some point, but maybe in the future. At that point, it just becomes a pyramid, and I don't know how interesting that is. But alright, and here you can see the just onslaught of roof after roof just going around. Now, it's worth mentioning, and you'll see later in the video, that I was not able to do the roof for this, like the actual top over the living area, the same as my original one. I am not sure why. Maybe one of the updates changed something or whatnot, but I couldn't get some of the roof pieces to place. So I did a little differently, and I was actually kind of happier with the way I did this one than the first. Got a little bit more room for decorations on the inside, but alright, once you do that, you're going to get back to the foundations and get to work. Another note worth making here is any foundation that's not facing inward in this little cavern that we're making down below, don't waste your concrete. Do a wooden foundation. It's much better on your resources, and concrete can kind of be a pain to go collect. Also, those corner pieces don't place. Just come to terms with that. But yeah, the concrete ones, just leave those for anywhere where you'll be able to see them. It just looks better, or it doesn't. It's personal preference. I prefer to just have them. See, I'm doing the wood foundations everywhere, but since this will be on the interior of that inner cave, I switch back to the concrete foundation. And same here, and you'll be able to see as I'm building out here. I'm still not coming to terms with that yet, but as I'm building out that area there, it's forming that kind of basement dungeon or maintenance area, however you want to build it. You can frame it however you want. My first tour, I did it as a like a cult dungeon, and in this one I just kind of made it the generator room. I mean, it's your build. You can do it however you want. And here I'm just placing the regular wooden floors, so you can see, boom, there's your kind of pseudo hidden basement. You can build it however you'd like. Yeah, I'm gonna jump back out here, and I'll jump back in later on when it's kind of more necessary. But yeah, so see you then. Alright, so here is where the initial issues started popping up when I was attempting to do the roof like I had done it last time. I did try and mix things up a little bit and do the back a little differently. Try making a kind of extended height part, but you'll see it doesn't really pan out. But basically these pieces and the pieces that connect flat top roofs to the regular roofs, they are just a pain. They really don't like to work that often. I haven't really quite figured out the trick to getting them to work super effectively. I'm referring to these pieces. So I'm going to kind of fast forward a bit here and get through the junk of me trying to get this to work until I finally just change my mind on how I want to do it. Because I went through every trick in the book and I just couldn't get it to work. So I'll leave it in so you can kind of see the different methods I use. Maybe you can get it to work, and then I'll jump back in with my final design. Alright, after dealing with that annoying bit of placement, time to start lining the inside of this living quarters. I like the smoother look for in here. Just kind of made the decorating a bit easier. Couldn't really do anything about that front wall, but so be it. Really hoping Bethesda throws some more walls and stuff our way, specifically roofs, and like some different things. Maybe like the metal set from Fallout 4. Kind of like looked like airplane parts. That'd be fun. I'd like to do like an airplane crash theme, or go find one of the crashed vertibirds and build around that. Just something to mix things up. Or even if you guys have any theme suggestions, throw them at me and I'll see what I can do. But anyway, here is the V2 version of my Lakeside bunker. Kind of went with a Brotherhood of Steel theme again, because for some reason I really like that faction. Yeah, had the whole heavy metal theme with the high-tech lights and just very Spartan, except for the sheep squatch plushie, but for the most part Spartan and just what you need, with a few trophies here and there interior. Walking back out, you got the artillery, the water purifiers, which I ran the power for those up through the trees. That's a nice thing about the trees on either side. You can use them as just pop some conduit things up in them, and there you go. This is my crafting area. You can see again how I ran the power lines up through the trees, down and around to the back, where I actually walled it off, and down to my generator room. Throw around some toolboxes to make it look a bit more real, and you know, gotta go when you gotta go, so best to have a place to do it. Got a sleeping bag out here for anyone that stops by. And yeah, so hope this helped. Like I said, it's a bit complicated, but just take a little patience and you guys will knock it out. Let me know how it goes. See you guys next time. Thanks.